Alright, spaceships to fly, contracts to close. Kerbal Space Program. Here goes. Got our chat back up here. Alright. So, where'd we leave off? Need a reminder. It's unlike me to take a day off from Kerbal Space Program. So, we've got a whole bunch of debris we need to clean out eventually. Got our lovely relay network. I need to just name those relay satellites so I stop getting confused. Nedbo's pod right there. What else we got going on? Probes. Still a while till Minmus probe makes it on its way. Alright. Got our stations in orbit. What else was I doing? Forget what else I was doing here. We have another, Whoa. Oh, yeah, that's... Okay. What's this one? Last one was a contract completion? Okay. You know, let's just go to the untitled craft here and just finally name these, because it's frustrating me. Relay 1. Super original. Relay 1, 2, and 3. Oh, I actually know what it is I'm looking at when I look at them in the map view. Alright, Relay 1, 2, and 3. Those are finally named. So we still got a while until Minmus probe is where it needs to be. So we've got 4 craft I need to try and develop tonight. Damn them, I really want to take these. Alright. So actually, you know, I was about to go with the easy one, and I think I'm not going to do that. I think I'm going to go straight to the hard one here. I made the XJ5, and then subsequently lost it when we had a weird game crash. So I think I want to remake it, although I have something else in mind for it. I was originally planning on it being a kind of... being like a kind of passenger vessel up to the Jebediah Kerman Memorial Space Station. But I've got something else in mind now that I think would be good. Some batteries on here. So now I have in my head, I could probably use this as a refueler, because in terms of a passenger vessel, it really wouldn't get me that many more Kerman. In fact, it wouldn't get me any more if I use the pod I'm planning to use. So it's kind of pointless as a passenger ship. It would just be more dangerous, which, while fun for video purposes, practically speaking, is not that good. So yeah, now I got it in my head. I want to try and do a kind of refueler, an automated refueler. And maybe later I'll add in crew capacity instead, or like a pilot and nothing else, just to see how that does. So let's see. I do need a small amount of monoprop. Actually, what I'm going to do, take these. There we go. Moving. Tuck those in nice. There we go. Alright, so that has all our fun stuff in it. That should do nicely. Then we want a dedicated fuel for the craft itself. And we want to have maybe a decent amount of it. Depends how long this is. Yeah, a decent amount of it there. I wonder if I could do something nicer than that. Let's see. Now I'm getting picky all of a sudden. Yeah, that looks fancy. Looks of that. Alright, now we need this guy. And we're going to put a port on the back. So it's going to dock to the Jebediah station in reverse. Because we can. Because that's a thing we can do. We need to work on the wings. Now the idea is that this would be saving us money in the long run, because we wouldn't be throwing away fuel tanks every time we tried to do a mission. We wouldn't just be automatically throwing away a fuel tank. And fuel tanks are one of those things I can't just throw parachutes on. Crew recovery, I can easily just throw a parachute on and away we go. We're fine. But big fuel tanks, not so much. And granted, this isn't massive in terms of fuel. It is quite heavy, but we should be able to deal with that if I do what I plan on doing. At least I think. Already, we're not spending a bunch of money, which is a good sign. Okay, so with this little stubby wing, down like this. Another little stubby wing. So I want to make this kind of based on the real-life analog, the Dream Chaser, which is under development by Sierra Nevada. And the idea is that we'd have a nice small wing configuration, nice tight wing configuration. We don't need a ton of lift. It's kind of hinky, isn't it? There we go. There we are. But yeah, as I was saying, we don't need a ton of wing surface area. We don't want it to be too wide, because ideally I want to be able to fit this in a fairing if I need to. I might not need to, but I'd rather be prepared for it. Rather be prepared for that to be an option. Tucked in like that. That looks pretty good. Looks a little wonky actually. Let's do some rotation. much better. Okay. Now, a very similar design we started to use was working, and then we did lose it. So I'm not overly concerned that this is a horrible idea. I think it's probably not the best idea. But, you know, maybe I can get lucky and have something productive here. We're just gonna do a little bit of rotation here. Move those kind of like that. Perfect. Perfecto. Maybe not perfecto. There we go. Probably move them in a little bit. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. And I want a stabilizer in the back here. I don't know how I want to do that, though. One of these, maybe? Might be ineffective as a stabilizer. Let's just put something more modest. So we're not making it hard for this to fit in the fairing. And then let's see, what else do we want to put on this sucker? There's quite a few things I need to put on this, actually. Put an inline communitron. Outside of the craft. That looks kind of weird, doesn't it? Try that and try that again. There we go. Okay. Here's our communications. Put some wheels on it. Okay, put those on. We're gonna rotate them. Okay, now we're gonna rotate them like this, so they're straight. Move them a little bit. So they actually fit on the wings like that. Okay, that actually looks pretty good. Oh yeah, those are straight. That looks really good right there. Okay. This is some advanced craft design going on. So, again, I want to be able to launch this in a fairing, but I also might consider launching this space shuttle style with an external fuel tank and some solid rocket boosters. The idea being that I'm just not putting money into engines that get thrown away, as now that should save me a little bit of money, hopefully. Let's see about that. I feel like these aren't perfectly straight as well. Are they? They most certainly are not, so we need to correct that. There we go. Now they're straight. Alright, what else do I need to do? Alright, what I need, I know what I'm forgetting. Elevons. Don't want those to be passive surfaces, we want to be able to have lift. That doesn't really work, does it? More. Our elevons? That's... Let's just see what... with just these things, huh? Probably not. So with thud engine, if we're gonna do a satellite, we won't need them. If a Which system? Just put them a little. Not sure. Wait, huh? Let's put a pair of these in. Rotate. And then. Last time. Together. Now if I do something else for solar panels, but for the meantime, just put some on. Just to say we did it. Now there would also be RCS. Really need to check the center of mass, center of aerodynamics. Ooh, okay. It's gonna lift us down. Why down? What's that all about? I think that's wrong. I'm gonna test it in a second. But we'd want some RCS thrusters there. Want some RCS thrusters there. Some there, just to balance us out. Some reversing. Some reversing. Now, when this would be an actual flight, be looking at empty tanks here. Which really means I should be moving these wings forward. Might let me bring back the thuds, actually. Just fill it back up. Fuel for a test flight. I think I'm ready for a test flight. What could go badly, right? Just everything. So, I mean, it's acting like it's just gonna basically drive itself into the ground with its lift. Which in all practicality makes absolutely zero sense. It wouldn't happen. You wouldn't have a reverse thing, I don't think. I guess maybe you could. But I mean, the air's still gonna go under it. So, it doesn't really make sense. We'll see what happens. Whoa! RCS itself to death, apparently. I'm gonna try that again with no RCS. Lesson learned. Don't know what was going on there. At least we recovered most of it. Okay. Launch it again. This time, no RCS. Why it wants to wobble. Oh, because those aren't level. Okay. Did it have to completely destroy itself? Is that really necessary? Okay. We're wasting money on this thing. So, the wheel issue is number one, I think. So, I didn't straighten these out entirely. Which is a pretty amateur move. It's really what was effing us up pretty good right there. But also, the lift seems to be an actual issue. And that's concerning. So, we're going to take... Take those, put them aside. Ah. See, those are okay. It's these that are the problem. Why would that... Oh, and that's just doing some weirdness. Okay. It's apparently really bad for these to be angled. Which that seems okay. And it still wouldn't be huge for a fairing. And it should give additional lift and control. So we're going to try that. It's a big thing, I just don't want to make it too big for a fairing. Especially if I'm using these Cub engines. It seems like that's what I'm going to be stuck with. It's going to be a fairing launch. Wheels are semi-straight. Still don't know why it wants to go one way or the other. Whatever. Just get into the air. Same design worked the other night, more or less. Okay, well, we're now getting altitude. So maybe it was just too much fuel, which makes sense. I mean, it's fine. We're not going to be landing with all this fuel. Well, it's got a weird pull to one side aerodynamically as well. Well, what's going on there? Why would it pull more to one side? Now it seems to be getting it. Just burn through all the fuel and see how it does when it's light. fully fueled, it would be going vertically on a launch vehicle. Does seem to lose altitude like a crazy person. Falls kind of like a brick, which the real space shuttle did. But, you know, maybe just excessively so on this craft. Speed is life. Altitude is life insurance. Love that saying. Okay, so now we are in glide mode. We have no fuel. This is what I can expect from the actual craft. Okay? We have no gimbaling thrusters to help us control ourselves, which is apparently a bad idea because we nose down uncontrollably. Let's just try and gain some crazy speed here and then pull up. So we had a fairly good working craft before, and I'm kind of disappointed I don't have any way to recover that craft from that crap shit and save file. Wow, this just is really front heavy and just doesn't want to do what I want it to do, huh? Let's turn on some RCS and just try and save the craft at least. So this isn't going to work, because we wouldn't have the RCS to help us, typically. We would have burned all that in orbit. Even then, this doesn't want to pitch up at all. Whoop. I really need this to pitch up. trick it into give me a little more. Not so much. Yeah, this isn't working for me. Kind of leveling out a little bit. In hindsight, probably should have put some parachutes on this just to be safe. Oh, that's our RCS. That's all our RCS. Okay. Well, this thing ain't gonna go very well. We're just gonna intentionally miss the runway so we don't destroy the runway. Just see if I can't put this down on the grass, which it's looking spectacularly like the answer is gonna be no. I'm mashing the key right now to nose up, and it is just not willing to nose up at all. We are plummeting. This definitely can be described as plummeting. A little over 10 meters a second, which is probably going to be too much for these wheels to handle. If we're lucky, some of the craft might live. But it looks like it's going to hit nose first, which is going to be a problem. Well, not bad. Okay. That was a lot better than I had feared. Nice. So that's a lot of vessel recovered right there. It is significantly front heavy. I'm going to give up on that guy for now. Something I was doing is fundamentally wrong. Now, we do need a 3 Kerbal launcher. We start getting Kerman up to the station. That's kind of goofy. Let's see if I can do that. And a pair of drogues. No idea which side Kerbals are supposed to climb out of that thing, but it shouldn't be a problem anyway for what we're going to do. Alright, we're going to put a service bay on there. So service bay. Go with the cheaper Octo. Plus that. Unless we want some extra fuel in there. Can kind of show through, that kind of stinks. Take the donuts out. Put an RCS in there. Yep, RCS and batteries. Or, the other thing I was thinking about doing Nah, that's silly. Do want a pair of single-use solar panels. Want an engine at the back there. No, I don't. Remember what I'm doing, Steve. Remember what you're thinking, buddy. Is there 1,000 each for the Cubs? That's ridiculous. These are only 120. So 4 of these spiders. Overwhelming amount of spiders. Docking port. That's the key to what we're doing. Putting a docking port there. RCS. There. That, nah. It's not ideal to be blasting into the solar panels, is it? It's enough distance. And then up here. Like stabilizer thrusters. I can put them up like here. And then we can maybe do rotation magic. Okay, and then we can do some movement. Nope, I can't. It's kind of in this window too. It's kind of meh. And if it takes up the whole window, that's actually better looking. Classy. Okay, we do that, and then we need like a single inline antenna or something. That's our little craft. Just that way. Not bad. A little less than 5 tons. So this should actually be doable with our K5. As is. Which is pretty good. So I might take this on an unmanned test flight. See how she does. Make sure we don't have any crew in there. Not interested. Thank you. Now, our K5. That's right, I still need to finish making this a payload with a shroud. So we want a 1.25 shroud. We want a T12 decoupler. Could do that actually, I think. As silly as that looks, I think I could do that. That's what I wanted to do. Base of the rocket, or the base of the payload, rather. Let's rotate on those. In. Nope. Move. Perfect. So that will deorbit that bugger. So this is K5, G3, CLV, C, Crew Launch Vehicle C. Add a description later. Save it. Now with the fairing, it's a little over our 5-ton limit that we wanted. But I think K5 can do it. I think the K5 realistically can handle that. Sure, again, no Kerman. Alright. So first stage, all this needs to be changed. First stage, main engines, boosters, tower, tower. Good. Then after that, we want these to separate. Good. I want that to separate and the engine, the Reliant to fire. Then we want to drop the fairing. And we want to drop off the fairing, the booster itself, and deorbit it with that. And we want to fire the engines. Then we want to separate this top module thing. And we want to fire the drogues, and we want to fire the main. Let's give it a shot. So this is going to be a test flight. We're going to get into orbit, dock with the Jebediah Kerman space station, deorbit as close to KSC as possible, and land. Reliable, basically. This is a very reliable rocket. So I'm very happy that we kept the weight that low so that we could use this. We are a little bit overweight for this rocket, but again, I really just don't think it's going to end up being an issue. Help if I remembered which way was which. Okay. Somewhere with the bubble. Okay. Never rotated the octode properly. Decently high apogee. Still need more out of this stage, which is normal for this guy. We can get a decent apogee out of this right now because we're heading to such a high orbit for the station, which was an intentional design. Now that we're leaving the atmosphere a good ways, we'll ditch the fairing. Good. Solar panels. I also could have timed this better with the station, but you know. Sometimes just bad planning. There we go. Should give us a lower orbit in the station, which is what we really want. We don't even need the retro boosters there. Should remove those in the next one. So we're gonna have a 2-minute 39-second burn time, so I should wait till 1 minute 15, 1 minute 19 seconds. So I should start like here. But the back end of this, yeah, this is going to be interesting. Majority of the thrust is going to be done at the very beginning, so I actually should wait a little longer, I think. Now maybe right at 1 minute, we'll do it. I get the feeling that these aren't even as strong as the ant boosters. I mean, you need to put like the twitches on this or something. See how much those are next time. Which realistically, this seems to be actually doing fine for us. For what we need to accomplish. Like, we're gonna get to orbit, no problem. So maybe I shouldn't be so critical of it. But, it does worry me a little bit. Maybe if I can put a smaller tank on there, maybe I'll be able to get it all the way into orbit the stage under it. Maybe. Yeah, okay, well, we're in orbit. That's what matters. We are in the least opportune position to actually rendezvous with the Jeb Kerman station. Which is interesting. Could have really planned that out. Poor planning on my part. Okay, doesn't seem like anyone's even watching today. Which is fine while I'm doing some goofy stuff. A little bit of sending no correction to make. So we know we gotta make that correction. What happens if we go prograde? At that point, we'll be on opposite sides of the planet. Okay, gotcha. Let's not do that then. Just aim for our maneuver in 11 minutes. Warp to that one. So, like, the only complaints I really have for this are very minor. Probably switching out to the Twitch engines in favor of the spiders. That alone might be enough for me to just say, let's go ahead and put Kermit on this. Depending if the reentry goes well. Wait till 7 seconds before node. Before we burn. So right there. Still 0.0, that's still good. Alright. We're gonna let this catch up to the station. Which is gonna be a very long time. Unfortunately. That was really silly of me to do that, huh? Just let it go through some time warp. Watch our probe way out here. It's got some time before it comes up on its mid-miss pass anyway. Alright, this is going to take a while. Because I very poorly planned that. Let's just give this optimal sun collection angle. Let that float around in space. Eventually be in position to go and dock with the Jeb Kerman station. So that's another thing I'll have to consider. When I do it for real, it'll have to be well timed. Now, we start getting into the reusable craft. Which I am going to save this real quick. I just want to see how much more thrust do we get out of the Twitch engines. We get 16 vacuum thrust versus 2. Yeah, so 8 times. Yeah, that'd be much better. They're 400 versus 120. So I could go probably with a pair of those. Maybe 3 of them. Cost down. That does end up being quite a bit more expensive. 1,200 versus 140. I think for the price, I think they worked just fine. I could rather have those back. Let's turn those as forward by throttle. So maybe we can get the RCS to help us out. We won't have a ton of RCS. Maybe we can fix that. How much is an RCS tank by comparison? 30 bucks. Yeah. 30 credits, I should say. There. Put the pair of tanks here. Move those in a little bit. Cool. Very cool. Does it make it too heavy? Truth. A little bit. Get rid of those. Does that help? Yep. It does help. Get rid of those actually makes it lighter. And saves us money. Yep. Let's do that. Let's thrust limit these down. What's the thrust level? Thrust power 2. Nope, wrong one. Thrust power 1. Hmm. 240 ISP at vacuum. 290 ISP at vacuum. Okay, so the spider's a little better. But still. Down half. These down to a quarter because I realize they have 2 thrust versus the 1 thrust. Ooh, and I don't have any braking thrusters, do I? Yes, I do. Braking thrusters right there. I'm done. Okay. I like that. I think that would do well for us. Gives us twice as much without any extra money. We just need a little more monoprop, but we'll trade it out for solid fuel, and bada bing, bada boom. That's going to be what we use. I think that's going to be the real deal right there. But we need to go to our reusable lander. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with this, because I was thinking originally... Well, this isn't much heavier than that craft, is it? Since I'm launching it on that vehicle, I really don't need that. Haha. So I was thinking originally we would not have this do its own RCS work. We would have something basically as a RCS tug with it. But I got a little bit of an idea which I think might work for us. Possibly. Possibly not. Actually, I need to move this tank up a little bit. And then go ahead and move that back so it's merged in again. Yeah, fix that again. Merge it back in again. Okay. So what we could do, I think, a pair of thrusters at the bottom here. Put 4 of them. Like that. Okay. I have some at the bottom. Alright, now what I could try and do is have like a docking harness that just has really RCS fuel. I'm going to save this, start building the harness. We're going to have to basically launch these to dock to each other and then head over. So this will take the 5-ton launcher into orbit. The other one will take the moon launcher and will be much lighter. I think this should be fine. So we'll take one of those. Big structural fuselage, we don't want that. What's the difference between those two? Oh, that's big. This is little. Okay, gotcha. I'm just being silly. So let's make this like a simpler core, like an octa-core. Yep, upside down is fine. So we want an octa-core. that. Fix those. Okay. That's good. Instead of this piece, I can do structural of the FLA adapter. That actually looks kind of cool. Let's put that on. So I still intend to use the small port for docking with the moon station. Moon station is more small port oriented. Okay. Now you can do 4 ports like that. Good. You can do 4 ports like this. Part of that. You can do 4 ports like this. As our forward. I should tilt those a little more. I'll just do 2. Just rotate them. Good. There we are. So that's the majority of the harness. Now where the 2 aren't, where there's 2 gaps, I want to put some solar panels. Or we could put them like this. Be smarter. Yep. That would be good. Take that off. Put a battery unit there. Cool. Now if I do that right, those might interfere, but because I did them 3 and that's 6, actually looks like they won't interfere at all. Cool. So basically, because I don't need the RCS except to dock, what we'll do is this little thing will wait in orbit, and then when this gets up to orbit, it'll go and rendezvous with it, and then it'll grab it, and then collectively go and connect at the station. Now I do need antennas for this. That does dawn on me now. Because not having antennas with this would be bad. That would be a bad thing. Scrap those. I'm just gonna put 1. Those on there. That should be enough for it to reach just fine. That back out a little bit. So even. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool looking. And collectively, this little guy is not that heavy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to reroute this. to this core piece. Right? Then I can wipe this out. Retract. Retract. It's upside down. Just an erky thing. Let's just rotate that so it's facing the way I want it to face. Good. Alright. So this will be the yep, reusable lander, RCS harness. This thing's only 1.185 tons, so this is light as can be, which will make the K3 Mooner transfer just ridiculously overpowered for this, which is ideal. So we want this to be able to dock to the lander and then both go on their way to the station. So what I need to do is add some decouplers and a fairing. Stubby little fairing. Should do just fine. And now this one will definitely need the Separatrons. Kick it back into a deorbit, or suborbital trajectory is what I'm looking for. That's the words that I'm looking to come out of my mouth. Okay, that should be clear of everything if I do a 3. Shouldn't burn anything up, I don't think. That might hit a solar panel. So I'll put this like dead center. That might hit a solar panel. So I think I need to go back to what I was doing, which was here. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's grab our reusable lander. We can launch that first. That one's going to need a K5 LKO. Let's just grab. And change out the antenna for this. New antenna. Or, which is this way? 1.5. Maybe a little more. Not enough to make it a deal breaker. Kind of want this big antenna. Make me feel a lot better. It's gonna be in space anyway. All right. We are just a little overweight though, and I'm miffed about that. Yeah, I'm just gonna eat it. I'm just gonna use that one antenna then. part. Don't want any crew on it. So Dunson, get the heck out of Dunson, get out of there. Alright. Check our staging. Oh, that's good. That's good. This pops off before we activate the... No, it doesn't. This is the K5. So we actually do that stage, then do that. Gotcha. And those go together. Alright. Reusable lander. Let's go. Hang on. Off we go. Oh, and I just dropped for a second for the text. Which doesn't really matter, because what's going on there, but that's cool. Make sure I have to chat up. Never know. Most exciting of episodes. Okay. Lander's on its way. K5. Super goofy looking ferry. 10,000 meters. Start doing our turn. Roll as we do that. Steady. Oh. Whoa. Okay. This rocket likes extremes. Okay. Flaring. Almost out of the atmosphere. How does that even have any RCS in it? That's silly. Don't want a high apogee. Thank you. Which of course do nicely. Okay, once we get out, completely out of the atmosphere, it'll give us the correct time of burn. Time for our burn. Just a quick sanity thing. Will this still extend when we have this thing in the way? It will. Cool. So reusable lander looks good. Okay, now it's saying we have a 1 minute, 2 second burn. It means I should wait for 31 seconds and then do it. And we're gonna have to apparently use the lander to finish the orbit, which I guess is expected. That's why I didn't put any retro boosters on this, but still disappointing in a way. Lander's going to be flying on its own. But I waited too long. It's okay. That's alright. We should be actually more efficient in the back half of our burn. And I'm following prograde instead of problem. Yeah. Blah, 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 words. I'm following prograde instead of following the maneuver node anyway. That should do fine. Alright, we've got a reusable lander in orbit. We'll go send it its, why'd that get all wobbly? Oh! Didn't have stability assist on, I had prograde assist on. Pretty cool little craft. Should be a pretty effective lander. Alright, now you should probably wait for that thing to come around. But we're going to roll this out to the launch pad. Memento. Odd. Anyway. Set our lander as our target. I do also want to see where our new capsule is. Still about opposite of the station. That's super helpful. Right there is where we're going to launch. Should be a very quick accelerating vehicle, considering how light the payload is compared to what it's capable of. So we get some very high acceleration rates. Crazy wobble. Okay, now we can start turning. Don't want to drive a high apogee, so I'm just going to be a little more aggressive with this one. Okay. Oh, I put a K5 on this thing, didn't I? Why would I put K5 on this? Oh, I just relaunched the lander. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. Didn't mean to send 2 landers up. Eee. Okay. Well, that's what it is now. I meant to send the docking harness. Let's just get it into orbit. Later I can worry about getting it onto the Jeb station. I'll have to make a docking port adapter for it. Time 26 seconds. Okay. And this I guess will be the Minmus lander for later. When I have a Minmus station, because I don't need 2 landers on the, well, I guess maybe I could put 2 landers on the moon station. I'll see what I want to do with it later. I guess for now I'll just put it into orbit, so it's safe in orbit, and we can come back for it later. Yeah, I can make a version of that docking harness to dock with the Jebediah Kerman station. Let me get the chat back up. Dude. Things are getting all weird on me. So wait till 13 seconds till the node, since it's only a 26-second burn. Maybe 14 seconds, because I have to actually stage as part of that. Oh, no, I'm just going to miss my window. It's cool. That's cool. Orbit. Perfect. Nice circular orbit. Another lander in orbit. Not at all what I intended. Now this time, let's launch the vehicle I wanted to launch. Reusable lander harness. There we are. Fix the staging. After this, those should go together. All right. Roll that out on the launcher, on the launch pad. And once again, I'm going to try to time it up with the proper lander. And this will be the low orbit harness that the lander will detach from and then get picked up by. launching from the moon station. So now, once again, target the reusable lander. This one? Yes, this one. Okay. Where's our... Okay. That's our K5 test craft. Catching up to the Jebediah Memorial Station, so I need to watch for that as well. So I'm going to wait for this lander to be... maybe like right here-ish relative to KSC. This little rotating point. Last launch was like really fast. Maybe I should let it get a little closer because this is going to be even faster. Well, I've got two, so I can let one get closer and one get further. How about that? How about there? Now we'll launch. This should be a very fast acceleration. Start our turn. Get ourselves to a high apogee so we can switch over to the Cheetah, which is our vacuum engine for this launcher, as opposed to the balanced engine on the K5. K3 has the vacuum engine. Yeah, and see, we're getting like way more of an apogee than I wanted. A little bit. All right, don't need the fairing anymore. Don't need the RCS. Don't launch the RCS there. Oh, and I've got a poop drone controller here. I don't like that one. Alright, let's just figure real quick what we have to do for this to get to orbit. No, don't do anything different there. Thank you. Just want to see what it takes to get to orbit. Thank you very much. Work on bring after. So 58 seconds. So we want to get to 29 seconds away. Ride this dead weight up to our apogee so we don't lose the benefit of the extra momentum. Okay, just gonna keep spinning apparently. Speaking of momentum, double-edged sword. I will choose the RCS as much as I didn't want to. I'll use 3 units of monoprop. That's not so bad. So right at 29 seconds, we'll stage out and run the Cheetah. Much more efficient than the swivel engine that I ran on the K3. But really need to get it up into vacuum first, so the heavier payloads on the K5 make it so you really do need the swivel, unfortunately. Extend all our goodies. desired orbit. Pretty darn close. And I realize I didn't put any additional reaction wheels other than the one in the core now. Which shouldn't be a problem when it doesn't have a big booster sitting on it, but you know, whatever. Alright. So our rendezvous already gets pretty close. We've got an ascending node coming up in 9 degrees to correct. Don't do that. No. I'm not clicking anywhere near that craft. Come on, don't be ridiculous. Thank you. There we go. So we'll worry about that maneuver first, because that's coming up quickly. We got a 1 second burn, 35 meters a second of delta V. And I might do, because I need to have a transfer craft, I might... Nah, maybe not. I was going to say I might push these over with it, but I probably won't do that. I should have some Kerman on board before I send that over. Or else I'll just be sending it right back. Because we will have a station-to-station transfer vehicle. And also I intended to launch tonight, although it's getting near the cutoff of the stream. What's our little Minmus probe doing over here? Not fantastic. Sport toward maneuver. Almost there. And we'll work on getting this this maneuver figured out. Oop, too much. Still 0.0. Good enough. Now, what we can do, stop targeting that craft. That's making me angry. We can raise our orbit. Okay. We can change our radial. We can get a nice close intersection. Right there. 0.2. I like 0.2. That's pretty accurate there. Okay. So 5-second burn. Wait till about between 2 and 3 seconds to try and do this burn. This just right. Okay, real intersection. 0.4. Still not bad. So let's put a node there so we can warp to that point. We're now target mode, so we can aim retrograde to target. Which will change anyway as we get closer, so... Oh, we would go into the atmosphere with that burn a little bit. That's disheartening. Why are we in the atmosphere? Why did we go down to 60,000 meters? That's not good. Stevie might have made a mistake. We still have a maneuver node. Trash that. Trash that one. Yeah, we're losing our spot a little bit. So what's happening to our spot? Is it getting... Is it because our orbit's decaying? We're already back on ascent. Okay. It's getting back where it belongs. We should be okay. Totally freaky. We just went through the atmosphere a little bit. It's just the very highest parts of the atmosphere, mind you. But still freaky. Oh, I lost my node, so I shouldn't be fast forwarding that much. Let's put a new node down. Now that I know we're going to be at a pretty good intersect. Still 1 kilometer's pretty good. It's going to be kind of a long burn too. Back in space, so that's a good sign. So about 10 seconds before I'm going to start to burn here. Because this is going to be a decent amount. I just missed a window. It's going to be a decent amount of deceleration. Where's my target? Oh, way up there. Okay. Cancel the rest of our movement to target. Oh, please be a little more accurate. Fine, RCS it. See, it like wobbles and it throws us off even further. Alright, let's just make for the lander. Which is the other way. Please, thank you. Why did I not put reaction wheels on this? It was a horrible decision. So at least later it won't have all this stuff on it. It'll be easier to control, so I guess it really doesn't need it in the long run. But for the purposes of this particular maneuver, it is incredibly infuriating. Do have RCS braking thrusters. So I should be able to just rely on those when we get close. Pretty close to the lander. That was dumb. I'm not in rotation mode. Actually heading away from it now at this point. So let's just aim right at it. Into linear mode, turn RCS back on. So for it. Doesn't really have good enough stabilization there with the extra booster. The booster does make this really hard to maneuver with this thing. It was not designed at all with that in mind, because I am foolish. It was designed only with the intention of going and recovering this thing. Which actually, I probably should have put more... Yeah, I should have put more RCSs around this core to be stabilizers as well. It was kind of dumb. It was kind of dumb, but that's okay. We'll live with it. It's probably pretty easy to deal with when it's not tailing a big booster behind it. I'm pretty sure if we can make this docking, making it without the booster later will be much easier. Especially in moon orbit. Moon orbit's pretty easy to deal with. Okay. Aim right at the thing again. Why is this not letting me control it? Oh. So I'm not in staging mode. There you go. Also some like really wild controls here. It's just getting kind of goofy. I'm tempted to actually like ditch this booster and try it without it. But then I need to launch something new to go ahead and carry this into Mun orbit. There's a weird tendency to accelerate as I do these maneuvers. Well, I got like no movement to it at all, which is a good thing. Both are aiming directly at each other. Now it should be an easy dock. Try and get this to stop wobbling. Maybe because this is wobbling. These aim directly at each other. Okay, we're docked. Good enough. Good enough. All right. So especially if I dump fuel from the lander into this, actually equally efficient. So yeah, that wouldn't really do me any good. But I could probably get to the moon station with just like this. So that might be what I do. I think I might do that on tomorrow's stream, though. So at least that's one vehicle more or less doing what I want it to do. Docking those two craft shouldn't be the problem. I can see if we can get a rendezvous with the Jebediah station and finish up this crew module test today as well, which I'm kind of hopeful for. So let's see if we do maneuver. Why is it so obsessed with setting Gwengar's pod as a target? Can't wait to deorbit that. Yes, there's going to be several more orbits. More orbits. Well, that was an interesting failed test. Sort of not failed, it's just in process, but, you know. The idea being that we'll dock in reverse and then go ahead and deorbit ourselves. Should be a nice, easy way into getting crew on the Jebediah Kerman space station. Jeb station's looking good. So we'd want our crew to dock on these, our crew modules, dock on these 3 rings, or either of these 2 reserve rings at the back. So 5 different places we could dock those. We've got, you know, 3 more places for fuel tanks on the front here. So those can have their own docking ring. So this is looking pretty good. Just need to get some crew up on there. Looks very nice and habitable. Alright guys, I think that's it for tonight. I'm gonna have to come back and figure out A, if that crew vehicle actually works, and then how we're gonna get crew in between this station and the Valentina Kerman Memorial Station. That might be a challenge. Could be interesting. But alright, that's it for tonight. Thanks to anyone that tuned in for tuning in. And catch all our older streams on youtube.com/TrueDecologyBro. And we pretty much get everything put on there the day after we stream it. So it's pretty up to date. Just in case you found anything on this one you wanted to go back and rewatch. So again, thanks everyone, and good night.